Welcome to the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. This is your time of the day to learn a little bit about the law while you enjoy your lunch. In the last Scaringi Law Lunch Break, we talked about how on August 15th of 2018, the Pennsylvania Superior Court ruled on grandparent standing in child custody cases. It clarified that a grandparent can file for custody, any type of custody, when the child is at substantial risk of parental neglect or abuse, even if the parent does not have any current custodial rights to the child. So since we're on the topic of child custody and grandparents' rights, I thought I would provide you with an important update in statutory law, in addition to the case law decision that we just discussed. The Pennsylvania General Assembly recently rewrote part of the standing section of the Child Custody Act. It revised Title 23, Section 5325, which is the section that allows for standing for grandparents to seek partial physical custody or supervised physical custody. Now, effective July 30th, a grandparent or great-grandparent can seek custody of a grandchild if the parent of the child is deceased. Then a parent of the deceased parent may file for custody, but that's always been the law. The second section is where the change occurred, where the relationship with the child began either with the consent of a parent of the child or under court order, and where the parents of the child have commenced a proceeding in custody, they've sued for custody, and they don't agree whether the grandparents should have custody of their child. If those factors are met, grandparents can now intervene in their children's custody action and sue and seek custody rights over their grandchildren. This Section 2 is a major change in child custody law and grandparents' rights. Now it's much easier for grandparents to seek custodial rights over their grandchildren. In any case in which a parent of the child has filed for custody against the other parent, that opens the door for either or both sets of grandparents to intervene in the custody action and seek their own custodial rights over their grandchildren. Now, of course, they must have had a pre-existing relationship with their grandchildren with the consent of a parent or by court order, and the parents must be unable to agree whether their own parents, the grandparents, can have custodial rights over their grandchildren. If those two factors are met, then the grandparents can sue and can request partial physical custody over their grandchildren. Now, this section doesn't entitle grandparents to shared physical custody or primary physical custody, just partial. But partial can mean all different types of scheduling arrangements, from overnights during the week to weekends, to the entire weekends or parts of weekends or different types of arrangements, so long as the amount of time the grandparent gets doesn't equal shared or primary physical custody to the grandparents. So because of this recent change in the standing section of the Child Custody Act, it's now even easier for grandparents and great-grandparents to request partial physical custody of their grandchildren. If you have any questions or concerns about child custody or grandparent standing, give Scaringi Law a call at 717-657-7770. Child custody is one of our largest practice areas. We handle it in all 6 of our central Pennsylvania office locations. Well, that's about all the time we have today for the Scaringi Law Lunch Break. I hope you learned something about the law. Enjoy your lunch.